So welcome back to our series on creating complex marketplace deployments using our commercial marketplace offer deployment manager. For this video in the series, we're going to talk about how to package up existing Terraform solutions and deploy them to the Azure Marketplace. And we're going to do that using our AZ CLI extension. For the AZ CLI extension video, if you don't have that installed, we're assuming that you have that installed to proceed forward with this video. If you don't, there'll be a link below for a video titled Installing the Partner Center extension. You can click on that link and that will walk you through the process of getting that installed and ready to use. But like I said, for the purpose of this video, we're assuming that you have that installed and are ready to use that. You can verify that you're in a good position to move forward with this video through one simple command. If you run the command AZ version, this is going to give you the version of your AZ CLI, and it's also going to give you the extensions that you have installed. So first thing this tells us, we have a good AZ CLI extension. If you don't have the AZ CLI installed at all, you can visit our public documentation that will walk you through how to install the AZ CLI for your particular system, Mac, Windows, etc. So this tells me that I have AZ CLI version 2.5.6, and I have this extension is what I'm looking for here, this Partner Center extension. That's what we're going to be leveraging. Outside of having the AZ CLI installed, we're also assuming that you have an offer in the marketplace pre-configured. If you don't have an offer pre-configured, there'll also be a link below that will walk you through how to do that using the CLI extension that we're talking about here, or you can visit our public documentation on how to create an offer in the Partner Center portal. For our purposes, we can check and make sure that we have a marketplace offer that we can use. I can just run this particular command here. It is AZ Partner Center Marketplace Offer List. I'm setting the output to a table. And what I want to see is that I have an offer available to target with my particular command. The reason that we need that is our packaging command is going to reach out using the Partner Center API, and it's going to pull down information that it needs when it's packaging up and deploying the technical configuration. So if we look at the output of my command, we have this complex Terraform offer, and that's what I'm going to be targeting with my particular command. So let's move and talk about the Terraform setup before we actually execute the command. So I currently am in a directory that contains a main.tf, and this is going to be a required file for our Terraform packaging solution. Our documentation will tell you what requirements we have, but they're very minimal. One of the main ones is that we require a main.tf, and this main.tf is a standard Terraform template that can use additional modules, which we're actually doing in our example here. So we have a modules directory, and this modules directory has a networking module, it has a storage module to install some, networking components and some storage. And then we have some additional resources that are being installed directly in the main.tf. But we do require a main.tf. Our installer is going to be expecting that. The other thing that it's going to expect is the create UI definition file. And the create UI definition file is the only artifact that we're going to need that is marketplace centric. And the reason we're going to anchor off the create UI definition is because as a publisher, you're going to own that user experience from collecting the proper input from the user that's going to be needed to install your particular solution. So what we're doing within our command is we're actually looking at the output of this create UI definition, and we're taking from that what we need to build our main template, our main template.json, which is going to reference our virtual machine offer that we talked about in the modem introduction video that you can click on the link below. That is a hidden virtual machine offer that does all of the install, and it really is directing traffic for the Terraform installation. We're going to create all of that. So that's all going to be happening behind the scenes and is, hidden away from you. All you need to do is create this create UI definition. So since we have a valid create UI definition, we can now look to execute the build command within our Partner Center extension. And we're going to do that by executing the following command here. So this is going to say AZ Partner Center Marketplace Offer Package Build. We have to give it an ID of the offer that we're looking to target. And if you recall, we pulled down the previous set of offers, and I'm targeting this complex Terraform deployment. So I'm giving that as the ID. We are going to give it the source directory that we're going to need, and we are going to give it a package type of installer. Now, what I haven't done is actually set my source directory. So why don't I do that first as a shortcut here? So I'm going to say, let me just quickly delete this command, and then I'm going to set my personal working directory. I'm going to say my source dir is equal to the output of my personal working directory. So let me set that. And let me echo that just to make sure that's okay. And that does look okay. So now that I have my source directory where my template lives, I am going to call this command again. Now, the last parameter here is package type. So for package type, we're going to give it a package type of app installer. Now, this package type can support multiple package types that exist now, as well as giving us some extensibility into the future if additional ones come out. But we also support things like the AKS offer. For the commercial marketplace offer deployment manager, the modem piece that we're talking about in this series, we want to give the package type of app installer. So I'm going to execute this command. Now, while this command is executing, what it's doing is it's going to look at our particular directory here. It's going to check for certain criteria, that there's a main template.tf, that there's a create UI definition, and it's going to build the proper package that we're going to need, the technical configuration that can get uploaded and published. And we'll show you the publishing process in another video. But for right now, you'll see that it created a file called app.zip, and that file exists right here in that in my current working directory. So I am going to expand this so that we can take a look at the contents of this app.zip. So I'm going to expand that, and we can look at it here in VS Code. So what our command went ahead and did was it took this create UI definition file and it analyzed its output, and it added some additional parameters that our installer needs. So for instance, it has this application installer username, application installer password, application installer auto delete. These are steps that are automatically added into the installation experience and captured from the user that will be part of our installation. The other thing that it did was it created the main template.json. So if you recall in the documentation splash page in the first video in this series, we talked about our modem installer leveraging the hidden virtual machine offer. So we can see that here by searching for plan, and that is some properties that are added to the Microsoft Virtual Machine resource type that reference our public hidden first-party installer that lives in the marketplace. So all of that is going to be referenced. Now, if you look at this main template.json, it's all related to our installer. So where does your Terraform templates live? Your Terraform templates live in a couple of child zip files. So the first one is client app.zip, and this client app.zip is also part of our installer. It's going to be a React front end. It's going to give you the user interface experience that you'll be able to see in a later video in the series. But inside this installer.zip, if I expand that, what you'll see is this is going to contain your main Terraform template, as well as some additional files that we use, like a manifest file, a create UI definition. You don't really need to worry about any of this. All you really need to know is that we created an app.zip and that this app.zip is going to be used for the publication of our offer. The only reason I'm getting into expanding this and showing you what's happening behind the scenes is I wanted to give you some information as to what exactly was happening behind the scenes so that you can do some debugging and get a better feel for what exactly is happening. But what we see here is once we see this app.zip, we successfully packaged up our app, our Terraform solution, so that we can deploy it to the marketplace. So with that being said, I'm going to conclude this video on packaging up this app.zip, and you'll be able to follow along in the next video in the series, which will talk about how to go about publishing it.